On Sunday, West Ham United return to the London Stadium to take on Newcastle in the Premier League. A London Stadium that we haven't won at since February. It's not been a good common stomping ground for the Hammers. The away side, Newcastle, they have not got a good away form either. They haven't won on the road since April. So this is the battle of who can break whose crappiest record first. Welcome back to West Ham Official. I hope you are all well. You join us for our match preview. Another defeat in our last game away at Leeds. Couple of home games on the spin now as the reality of our situation really is setting in. Can we muster something from this game? Unlikely, but I think all of us has probably got one eye ahead to Burnley the weekend after. But we're here to discuss the Newcastle game, and with me, two fantastic guests, Gary and Sam. How are we, gentlemen?
I'm good, thanks, Jake. You?
Not bad. The weekend is here for me because, I work about 3 days a week at university. So the weekend is here. Exactly. Every day is the weekend for you, Gary. So, your life is just one big weekend, really, isn't it? But
it is.
Fair play to you. And Sam, you're in the minority of probably having to work tomorrow, aren't you?
I'm only doing a half day tomorrow, though. So
it's just part-timers everywhere, really, isn't there? Very good. Right, let's turn our attention to Sunday. Can you get any confidence, Gary? Because I'm struggling.
I think by some fluke, Nuno stumbled into his best team at the end of the Leeds game. So if we start with that, if we start with the midfield of Potts, Fernandes and Magassa, we've got some energy in there. So I think we've got a chance. I can say it's getting a draw.
I want some of what you've been drinking, Gary.
No, I don't. Sam, I think you'll play Callum Wilson up front as well. It's just our centre backs is the problem.
I think you're inserting a lot of optimism into Nuno's team selection. I'm less confident that he's going to do all the logical things that we all want him to do. But I will hopefully an hour and a bit before kickoff be proven wrong on Sunday, and he puts those, as you said, puts those players in to help us massively. Sam, it's been a pretty poor week for West Ham. Monday and Friday last week, it was bad. We can't fabricate it in any way. It was not good. We need to dust ourselves down and go again. Can you see this game being a profitable one for West Ham?
Every week I come on and I'm positive and we lose. So I was thinking about coming on and being really negative and seeing if it was me that was the problem. I agree. We played better in the second half against Leeds. I think if we played the way we played and the team we played in the second half for the full 90, I think we'd probably have won the game. Maybe not necessarily deservedly, but I think like we were. They were definitely not the better team in the second half, I guess. So. Yeah, cautious optimism. I think if we were away, I'd be feeling a lot more confident.
And that's the state we're in now. As I mentioned at the top of the show, Gary, at home it's a plague. That place is a disease to us at the moment. You can't beat around the bush. And I'm laying all blame on you, Gary, to be honest, because you go to most home games, and I think you are personally the problem.
I wish I was, Jake, then I wouldn't go anymore. No, I think we all know it's not a football stadium, that's the trouble. And we haven't lost. This is our worst ever run in our history at home. So we've seen some bad teams over the years. And Austrian players love to play there. Newcastle, last year they won 5-1, the year before, I forget.
Oh, I've just got a flashback. Was that the Fabianski game where he made that howler?
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago.
Last year, it was 2 years ago. Yeah, and they're a good side, Newcastle, so it's going to be a tough game. We just need to show some resilience and show some leadership. Confidence is the thing as well. We need some confidence to do, as I said last week, they're the key things that are missing in the team. But I think I like Freddie Potts. He seems to be a steady influence, doesn't do a lot wrong. Fernandes and Magassa got the legs. Get them in midfield. We got some decent fullbacks, and Bowen is kind of a little threat. So we got some good players. It's just our centre backs and our goalie that worried me. Apart from that, we're okay.
For me, it's just the goalkeeper, the centre half, the midfielders, and the lack of quality up front. But apart from that, I think we're on for a winner Sunday. But I spoke about it on my video earlier, Sam. The midfield is really what's bugging me at the moment. We know there is no quality defensively. We've established that. We're just going to have to deal with it. And Tadibo, Igor going to have to play unless something really rogue happens and he chucks somebody else in there, which I doubt will happen. It's the midfield which is aggravated me. And I spoke about Paqueta and the whole rumor that came out a couple of days ago. Spoke about that earlier, but it's more the sense of the players that are on the bench, especially on Friday, who weren't involved. Potts, Fernandez, all the legs were on the bench. And it unlocks Paqueta as well. Whether you drop or start Paqueta, if you put the likes of Potts and Fernandez around him, then it's going to make the whole midfield better. If I see Souček and Irving in that midfield on Sunday, I genuinely think I'm going to drop my pint. And I would have paid for that pint most likely, and that would be a really unlikely thing for me to do. He cannot do it again, surely.
Well, I don't think we've tried the Souček, Irving, and Rodriguez. And Guido Rodriguez in there. Like that's something he hasn't tried yet. No, I think in all seriousness, we will have to go with the pacier ones. Like it has seemed like the last two games, and they were not the two games for it, but they were almost like pre-season friendlies, fiddling about with the team, seeing what fits, seeing what works. I think it's unfortunate for Skulls that he picks up that knock, and that's seemingly how we stumbled across. Maybe we play a striker, but it did move that on a little bit on Friday night. And even once we made that change and we were playing a right back on the right and a left back on the left, we looked instantly better even for that change with a striker up top. So the midfield is the problem. And I was watching a video earlier and I was trying to work out what I'd take for Paquetá in January. And I think if a club came in and said 45, 50 million, we should be biting our hand off because he just doesn't offer us anything anymore. Like we need a player in there that is going to absolutely blaze for the club. We need a James Ward-Prowse 4 or 5 years ago style player that no matter what we do, he's going to put in an 8, 9 out of 10. And the problem with Paquetá is that so often he will do an 8, 9 out of 10 for 15 minutes. And unless we go 3-0 up in that 15 minutes, he'll then go back to a 1, 2 out of 10. He'll put us in whatever it might be.
I think trouble with Paquetá, for 50 million, he doesn't do enough. His end product, I read his stats the other day. I think he's got like 9 goals and 8 assists in 100 odd games first. For 50 million, you need more than that. You need someone that's doing every other game, and he doesn't. He literally doesn't do enough.
It just seems like Paqueta's got the pass. That's the thing that's annoyed me is that I spoke about in a roundabout way. I was trying to reinforce the point that he's not good enough and he doesn't bring enough to the team. And it's all well and good having this luxury player, but there's no luxury attached at the moment. It's just another crap player. He's a flowery name and he does a flowery skill every now and then. But if we actually reduce it down to, right, what does he do week in, week out? It's very minimal. and there's no other way of getting around it. Go.
If you look at Jared, he always gets goals or assists. Even last week, at least he got an assist. He always provides. So over the season, I don't know what his stats are over the season, goals or involvements, but I bet that's all 1 and 2, 1 and 3. So he's always a threat. Some of it, I'm starting to worry about him. He's not really doing much apart from threat. He runs, blazes over the bar. He needs to start creating something. We need to get some goals from somewhere as well. We scored 1 goal in the first half all season. We're pathetic. What about throw something out there, Jake? What do you think about putting Souček at the back?
Well, something, as I said earlier, something rogue to try and mix things up. I was just looking. Paqueta scored 2 goals so far this season. We've only scored 7 as a team. So he
3 of those came in 10 minutes at Forest.
Exactly. Yeah. So you take almost half of our goals in the whole season have come in a 10-minute spell, and you take the irrelevance against Chelsea at the start. They were getting battered anyway. All of a sudden we have. That 10 minutes of madness. If you take that out, if that doesn't happen, that game could have easily finished 0-0. I was there and there was shock everywhere. That Forest game, was destined for 0-0, and how it ended 3-0, I don't think I'll ever know. So if that just fizzles out into a goalless draw, we've scored 4 goals in how many games?
9.
How many games have we played? 9 games, yeah. 4 goals. I mean, we've scored 7, which still isn't much better. 7 goals in 9 games. That ain't going to keep you up scoring less than a goal a game, you know? That's
Exactly.
my concern.
So Somerville needs to step up. Newcastle needs to step up. We need somebody to do something.
Yeah, I think it's these players that, because of their name, get a pass. We need them now to step up and produce. Somerville, Paqueta, all the rest of it. You know, Bowen does produce, and you know, I'm not sitting here and saying, you know, I mean, it would be nice if Bowen is isolated out there, as is Somerville at the other side. You know, they're so far apart, and there's nobody anywhere near them. They're struggling to get, and when there's nobody in the middle, it's just like, well, you just will not bother. If you've got 2 wingers out there putting the ball into nothing, then we just want to give the ball back, which is basically what we do anyway. And I mean, it must be, again, I'm saying a lot of it must be this, it must be that midfield, it must be Wilson up top. Surely, Sam, we've got to get to the point where now, after he's seen the difference and contrast in how we played with and without Wilson last week at Ellen Road, he must start Wilson Sunday.
He's got to start Wilson. Yeah, absolutely. And it just gives us the right shape up top. I think without a striker, Bowen looks half the player that he is at best. I think it gives somewhere for Somerville to put the ball, because otherwise he plays like so many other promising wingers that we've seen over the years, that he can run down at the speed of light, but then he doesn't know what to do, so he just hits the ball into the stands or passes to a defender or whatever. We've got to have someone up top, and it's why over so many years we've always turned back to Antonio, because we've always needed that guy in the middle that can hold the ball up, will score some goals, will nod it down to someone, or have a shot on target or whatever. And we've been lacking that this season, and that hasn't helped Paqueta either. He's been, let's face it, he's probably been out of position in the majority of those games. And actually, the one game when he wasn't out of position was the game against Forest. When he scored the goal was the time when we brought on Callum Wilson, and we had players playing, they were square pegs in square holes. So I think we'll see Wilson. I really hope we do. Otherwise, it's going to be another one of those lineups where we start to look at whether Nuno's just after a paycheck of getting sacks, because there's been a few of those where you're like, what are you doing?
There's talk of this Cummings guy coming through, isn't there? The guy we bought from Celtic.
Yeah. I mean, there's striker, isn't he?
Yeah, there's talk of him getting involved. I've never seen him play, so I don't know what he's like.
I mean, it might get to the point where something rogue is going to happen at some point. You know, something that's got to give, is that we can't keep doing this. And yeah, you can make minor alterations and changes here and there, but I've got a feeling, you know, I don't think, maybe after that Burnley game, we've got Bournemouth and then Liverpool away and then home, is that I think he's going to go with something rogue. I mean, you could argue last week was rogue, going with Souček and Irving, but something just that little bit different. Let's pick up on Potts. Pick up a penguin there. On Freddie Potts. Now, I think we've all been advocates of him getting involved a bit more. I've just been thinking, saying, I'd start Potts on Sunday, and I'm sat here thinking, yes, it can't get any worse, but Joe Linton, Guimaraes, it's a very good midfield, you know, and whoever we put there, they're going to struggle, and it could go one of two ways. You know, it could be with Skulls, and Potts could really struggle, or Potts could shine, but you've got to put himself in that position for us to establish that to start with, Gary. I mean, for me, I'd start him. I don't know about Nuno, but it's a very tough ask him to go in there and work with not a lot, really.
I think that Newcastle midfield is probably, in my opinion, the best midfield in the Premiership. I think they're on their day, Bruno, Joe Linton, and the Italian lad. What's his name now?
Tonali as well, yeah.
Tonali, yeah. And they're all three fantastic players. So, you know, whoever we pick, we're up against it. But I think Potts, I liked him against Grealish at Everton. You know, he silenced him and he tackled him a few times. He seems very self-assured. He doesn't do the... what's the word I'm looking for? He's not spectacular, but he's steady, you know. He gets the ball, he wins the ball and passes it forward, which is all you want from a midfielder. So I think he's definitely worth a shout. Fernandes and Mombasa are also young. So we need to give them a go. They've got legs, they've got energy. That's if we haven't got that on Sunday, we're going to get destroyed. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, if it catastrophically fails with that midfield on Sunday, then we have established that we are balls in midfield, because we basically tried everything,
But,
and he's got to try
but
these things, and maybe it won't be a fair representation, and
yeah,
as Gary's just said, they're a very good midfield. I mean, beat Spurs. I mean, they are very good at home. They're the opposite to us. They're very good at home. They utilise their own stadium, St James's Park, very well. It's an incredibly tough place to go. And they swiped Spurs to the side last night, and Joe Linton clattered Kudus, which did amuse me slightly from behind as well. It was a proper thumping tackle, but it's a very good team, and
it's
and
what I'm
they've
saying.
and they've
I don't think you can judge our midfield on Sunday because it's just
no.
too strong.
No. So if he goes, I mean, we'd all prefer him to go with that midfield. Sam, do you think he's going to make these changes that they're all desperately pleading for and talking about? I mean, I don't like to second guess managers because they're a funny type of person, but I just hope that he goes with it.
I think everything shouts that he will. He's got a lot of those under-21s coaches around him, and they're going to be talking up Potts, and they've obviously been talking up Marshall up top, and he's given him a few chances, and we've had skulls in. So everything says that he will, because that was the best team that we've seen on the pitch probably this season in that second half against Leeds. I think the only thing that might stop it is we don't know what he's seeing in training during the week. We don't know what's been done there. And some of these players must look good in training to keep getting second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever.
Honestly, I want some of what Souček and Irving are taking in training, because they're obviously they can't take it for game days, and
The one thing you'll always get with Souček is he'll work hard. He won't always give the best ball at the end, but he'll always give 110% for the shirt. And when we're scrapping down the bottom, we do need those sorts of players in. And he's a leader, and we don't have many of them on the pitch. And I think one of the big things for Nuno, and this wasn't the question, but one of the big things for Nuno in January has got to be looking to bring in a leader. And that might upset Bowen if you take the captaincy off him. But I think it's definitely what's needed, because it's too big a thing around Bowen's neck. He's not been as good a player since he's been the captain. And he isn't a captain. He never gets in the referee's face. He never goes and has that argument. He never rallies the team if we can see the goal, or even if we score a goal. He's not there as that driving influence. And so often that has been someone else. And
I've been to away games where they've started doing this huddle, and I sort of peer into the huddle, and Bowen's not even speaking. Like, he's not doing, like, I've been to away games. I think it was at Forest. Hillman was the one talking, and I turned around and went, "Why isn't our captain talking in the team talk just before we're about to get underway?" I couldn't understand it. And yeah, I mean, we've got to weigh up, and it will upset Bowen undoubtedly, but what's bigger here, our status in the Premier League or keeping Bowen happy at the end of the day? And we all know what the more important aspect of that is, and leaders is needed, and a bit of fight is needed there. And I'm not saying Bowen doesn't fight, because he does, but he's not that captain material that we need in this relegation dogfight, and that is a fundamental part of where change has got to happen. There you go. Oh, there's you. Are you all at sea like our midfield? Well, like a whole team, I'd probably extend it to, but very good stuff. Paqueta flatters to deceive most of the time. Andy, hope you well. The only positive is the under-21s. Yeah, they won at Swindon, I think, under an air of controversy the other night. I've heard it all got a little bit rather tasty at the end in the Cotswolds, but they're winning again, and at the moment they seem better than what we're chucking out week in, week out. We just referenced there, Newcastle are a good team, Gary. The midfield is very good. They've replaced Isak with a bloke beginning with W, and I can't say his name, but he started scoring goals, and they are just a solid team that under Eddie Howe have always done well and are incredibly hard to beat. Having said that, haven't won away since April.
We've got to hope they're still tired from yesterday when we play them, because it's a hard game on paper. They're on man for man. There's not many of our team that were getting theirs. That's the trouble. We look at us. Apart from Bowen, there's not many that were getting the team. And the thing about Jared, I said what you're saying, Sam, about captain, but he fronts at the media every single week. He comes out and he does, lead. No one else speaks. It really irritates me. His Kilburn should come out and say something, or to Debo, or somebody should come out and say it's not good enough. We as the defenders know it's not good enough. Let's sort it out. Because the Leeds goals, the first one was Scholes' mistake, the second was Spaghetti's mistake. It's just basic defending. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it needs the thing, and I'll always go back to, Fulkrug has been a failure, right? I'm not disputing that, but he came out towards the back end of last season after another crap performance, and he stood up and he went, you know what? Not good enough. We went to the next away game at Brighton, and the bloke was a hero, right? I couldn't stop singing his name. There was all these funny chants, all the rest of it. The away contingent were relieved because somebody stood up and said how it was, and he didn't back it up by putting in any performances because the bloke's useless. But at least he had the balls to stand up and say something about it. Nobody is gutless. Nobody in this team has got the minerals to go in a post-match press conference and say to that interviewer, do you know what? Actually, that was not good enough. We need to do better and shift the tone, because it's all too, we'll do better next week, and we know we're not doing well, and we need the fans behind us. Sod that. Why don't we go out there and as a team take accountability? Sorry, I'm ranting now, but there's no accountability in that team. Nobody is standing up and going, do you know what? I'm going to change this. No one in midfield is standing up and saying, I'm going to, rollick some of you and get some change. Bowman's not doing it. No leaders are doing it because there's none in there. There's no talking from the keeper. Areola's silent. All across the pitch, it's silent. And you can just imagine in that dressing room at half time and at full time, I bet you could hear a pin drop in there. I bet it is as silent as a library. And that tells you everything you need to know, because it feels like there's no care, and that's what's being reflected, and that's really bad. When you're in a relegation battle against teams like Burnley and Leeds and all the rest of it, it all seems to, it is what it is, and not, right, let's change it. Do we agree?
Yeah, definitely. We need somehow to get 4 points in the next 6. We've got to. Else we're going to be too far back. We're already, was it 5 points off the bottom 4? No, was it 4? I forget.
Like that, yeah.
So we need to stay in touch. So somehow we've got to get 4 points in the next 2 games. Because as you said earlier, Jake, Bournemouth and Liverpool, 2 games afterwards, they're going to be really tough. Really tough.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a horrific run. After that Burnley game, it goes Bournemouth, Liverpool, Man United, Brighton, Villa, Man City, Fulham, Brighton. Fulham aren't doing well. But apart from that, that's a very good team. There's no game. There is a game off in the Premier League. We established that by losing to Sunderland 3-0 on the opening day. But you look down there and I'm thinking, where the hell are we getting points from? That's the concern. We've got an awful December. Sam, when I look at that, Man United away, we never win. Brighton away, we struggle. Villa are a good side. City, given. Fulham okay. Brighton okay. But it's all of a sudden looking down that fixture list and going, where are points coming from?
No, absolutely. Bournemouth have started this season at a canter. Normally you'd go, maybe we could get something out of that. You'd fancy us to get something out of Burnley. You'd fancy us to, maybe if we were on a bit of form, to get something against Fulham in the Christmas fixture. But we could. I think the only thing that's positive for us at the moment is that Wolves make us look world class. So that's.
But
positive.
even they showed a bit of fight last night, coming back and nearly got back on level terms against Chelsea. They were 3-0 down and the game ended 4-3. They are bad, they are awful, but they showed a bit of fight and got back into the game. I don't see us doing that.
No. The first time I've seen us put in some fight, Arsenal behind, was against Leeds last week.
Yeah,
that's the first time this season that I've seen us go behind and put in a bit of fight. And actually, we were a little bit like that the week before. I can't remember who we lost to. We were at the game, but I can't remember who it was. We still lost.
It was that memorable, wasn't it? Oh, Brentford. That was awful. That was.
All I remember is that Andy Irving started. That's all that's scarred there forever.
That whole evening is a bit of a blur, and it's all your fault, Sam, to be honest. But
I'm taking no responsibility. But I think we've saved a little bit by Wolves being awful. Forest look like a club that are in a disaster zone. They've got a distraction of Europe. Sean Dyche is not the answer. I don't thing, touch wood. So, and then you've got Fulham, you've got Burnley, you've got Leeds. There are a few clubs down there that are also not very good, but we shouldn't be staying up because there are 3 worse teams than us. We should be staying up because we've got the second biggest stadium in the league. We've got an expensive squad. We've got a high wage bill. We've got a manager that was at a top 5-6 club a few years ago, and everyone was talking about being the future. We should be there because of who we are, not because, oh, that's all right, because Wolves are worse than us.
Yeah. No, I agree. Absolutely right. Let's go on to predictions. I can't have the fun of taking Mike's prediction tonight because he's on his 18th holiday of the calendar year, and I'm sure he's got another 2 before 2025 draws to its conclusion. Gary, let's start with you.
1 each.
1 each. There we go. I'll tell you what, Gary, you must see something different from the posh seats. Like, honestly, I don't know where you're getting your confidence from.
You can't turn up thinking you're going to lose. You can't. You just can't.
I can.
You can't.
We will lose.
You can't
I'm
pay your
telling
money,
you, we will
walk in,
lose.
and you got to cheer the team on and hope that something's going to happen.
I will cheer the team on, but I cannot see how with their midfield we get anything out of this game. In my opinion,
they might be tired. They might have an off day. These things happen.
Yeah, I need
Freddie
a
Potts
few
might
more
flat
beers.
35 yards. You never know.
There we go. And I might run on the pitch and put one in as well, just to top it off.
That won't happen.
No. Sam, prediction?
I was going to go 1-1.
Gary.
But if we play the team that we've spoken about tonight, with all the changes we've spoken about, that pace in the midfield, I am going to go with us to win 2-1.
Oh, I like it.
But a lot is on the fans as well.
Jake, you started off by saying let's be optimistic. That's fair.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah,
No, I rate it. It's brilliant. I mean, I'm just sad.
Predictions have a clean sheet, Jake.
Then I've got to predict 0-0. No.
That's the question, Jake. You copy that Man United fan, not cutting your hair till you win 5 in a row.
I knew you were getting. My hair is being cut when I go home next week because then I don't have to pay for it. So it's a week today. It's being cut. I know it looks nothing like that Man United bloke, but yes, a week today it's being cut. So you can take the mick out of it on Sunday, all right? And it just decreases the likelihood of you getting a pint bought for you, but that's fine. Don't bother me. Don't bother me at all. I am going to stick to my laurels. I'm not going to be swayed by you two, and I'm going to predict West Ham United 0, Newcastle United 2. I just cannot see how we win this game or even
You're
draw
predicting
it.
That from my seat, and I don't like that. That's an optimistic seat. It's a cheering seat.
If we don't lose, Jake, you've got to come on here and you've got to apologise to everyone, okay?
I will. If we win, no. If it's a draw, no. But if we win, I will come on here and I will eat my hat. Not my DT30
You've got to
hat.
if we win, you've got to do 20 press-ups live on the screen.
Fine, deal. If we win, I will do 20 press-ups here on my West Ham mat. Or maybe I should film myself doing it outside Wembley. I mean, it's up to you.
I'll have both.
Both? No. No, I would love to sit here and do 20 press-ups because I'd love us to win. But Joe Linton, Tonali, that striker up front, Dan Burn, I just cannot see it. I'm sorry, I just cannot. I cannot see it. But yeah, I love you two's optimism. And look what it's come to. I'm saying a 1-1 draw at home is optimism.
It is.
That's what it's come to. Now this game is subjected to another of Hammers United's protests against the people upstairs, David Sullivan and Karen Brady. It's a sit-in after the game, and one thing I do hope is that the game isn't too far gone, so no one's left in there to protest afterwards.
If you don't want to protest enough to hang around for 90 minutes for the team that apparently you support, then it's not a protest. If your problem with the ownership is so small that the club you've supported for 20, 30, 40, 50 years being 2-0 down, that's too much. I don't hate the ownership that much. Then you need to shut up because you clearly aren't that bothered. Sorry.
No, I agree, 100%. No, it's
Something
fine.
that's been on my mind all week, and it just spilled out.
No, but it will come to the point where, I mean, if we win, brilliant, because I've got to do press ups, so the place will still be full at the end, and more people, and when they see, little groups of, emerging in the bottom of Billy Bonds and in the main bit in, Bobby Moore lower, and if we win, then and then if we reinforce the point once we've won, we're on Sky, they're going to publicise it, they love that sort of thing, as they flip between that game and the main event. Now, they'll put it up and yeah, if we are 3-0 down, sit in there and stick it out is what I'm going to say. It's a 2:00 kickoff. If you want to protest, and I'd urge everyone to, if they haven't got to go and catch trains home and all the rest of it, stay in there, protest, and get your voice heard. Because at the end of the day, we all pay our money, and we've all got our opinion. And we should all be able to express our opinion, and I hope it doesn't turn nasty, and I'm 99% sure it won't. I'm sure it will remain peaceful and the message will get put across. And Gary, I know, Gary, I might walk over to you and we can protest together. What about
that? Yes, that's good. The only thing I'm worried about is the stewards not letting people move between the seats, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's going to have to play it by ear. I mean, I was thinking I'll move around the Bobby Moore lower, and then I'm thinking, am I going to be ushered away?
Exactly.
We'll see. But yeah, so it is a sit-in after the game. To be 100% safe, just sit in your seat. Don't move about, and if you feel compassioned and impassioned to do so, then make your voice heard, and let's come together to try and get the change that is ultimately needed for the football club. And I feel, in my opinion, everyone's allowed their opinion. I feel like this is a better form of protest than boycotting, because we can all support the team and then afterwards we can express our opinion, and I think this will make a bigger impact, and I hope it does. And then the march to follow for the Burnley game, let's try and create some change, and let's become the generation and the group of people that save the club, because we are declining and we cannot watch it happen for any longer. Any final thoughts, gents, before we go?
I really hope that at the end of the game there are 20,000, 30,000 fans that do hang around and do protest, because we do need change. I think we look back, it was Brentford, wasn't it, that we lost to? But you look around that game, it didn't look like people were staying away particularly. No. Like if that was the objective of that game, it failed. The board didn't hear it because I was in the ground. It didn't look like there were people missing. I don't think the protests outside the ground particularly help. I think this is particularly achieve much. I think this is a really big opportunity. I hope the players play a good game and therefore people do hang around. But I think if you are going to the game and you do want there to be change at the club, hang around, even if it's 5-10 minutes at the end. You don't have to be there for hours. You don't have to be there till the bitter end. But get your voices heard, because you're right. It'll be on Sky. I'm sure that there'll be a representative from the board there to see it. And if they're not, that's then the thing that will get on the back of the papers the next day. And it might just be something that does make that change happen.
Yeah. Gary, I want to walk past the corner shop on Monday morning, and I want the back page not to be about the main event that happens on Sunday afternoon. I want it to be an area of the London Stadium full with flags up, and I want to see the change being demanded, and they cannot avoid it, and we've seen little things, and there's been a release put out to the relevant people at Hammers United. There will be club representatives there, and stewards have been told to not engage in confrontation, which I don't think will happen. I don't think there will be confrontation, but this feels like the pivotal point inside the ground after a game where it cannot be escaped. They can walk out the back and into their offices all they like, but this is where the publicity comes, because it's going to be inside the ground, as Sam just said, live on Sky. They're going to be talking about the game afterwards, and let's make it so obvious that they cannot ignore it, that it has to be publicised. Gary, your
thoughts? I agree exactly what Sam and he was just saying. We need to make our voices heard. It's going on too long. Our recruitment is absolutely a joke. The way that we conducted our transfer business this summer was just ludicrous. The first thing that Sullivan told everyone is we had no money, and our best player, or one of our best players, Kudos, was up for sale.
Yeah.
Who starts off negotiating like that? Immediately, you've downgraded our best player, so people snap your hands off. They know we're skint to take the best money we can, and every time we go in for a player, they realize we're desperate. It's just ludicrous. The whole way the club is run is ludicrous.
Yeah, absolutely. And I urge people, if we're 3-0 down after 70 minutes and you're that enraged, go and have a pint, right? Don't leave the ground. Go to the toilet and just have a wander around. Do not leave. Make sure you're back in your seat for the full-time whistle. Let's get that place as full as possible. There will be people that leave, of course. There'll be people that don't know about it. There'll be people that there'll be a very minute amount of people that don't agree with it, and there will be people that just go because that's just life. But let's try and keep as many people in there as possible, because this is the way we're going to change it, making our voices heard, vocalizing the opinions, and what an apt game to have it at as well. Newcastle, they know all about it. Mike Ashley, and they will sympathize and empathize with what we're trying to get behind. And I just hope it feels really important. The game is very important, but what happens in the 20-25 minutes after the full-time whistle feels nearly just as important for the football club, for what we're going to do, and for how this moves forward. And I just hope, as I said, people hang around and support it, because a lot of work goes into this. From I've spoken to people who have been organising it, and there's a hell of a lot of work that goes into this, and they're doing it because they can feel it slipping away. They can feel the club.
20 or 25,000 shouldn't be too much to ask.
No, it should be. It should be 10, 20,000 people should be staying behind for 20-25 minutes. I mean, it's a 2:00 kickoff, so instead of leaving Stratford at 4:00, you might leave Stratford at 4:30. Come on,
big deal.
What difference is it going to make, apart from you can walk out of there at 4:30 with the satisfaction that you, as a paid up person, as somebody that is invested in the club, you've made your opinion and voice heard, and that is what we've got to get across over the next few weeks. But right, a few comments before we go. Sharky, member for 45 months. Wow, thank you very much indeed. Frog and Well, thank you. 6 points from our last 2 games as our last chance, and Nuno blew it. Points have got to start coming. They do. 1-0. The bad run has to end at some point. Another one predicting a win. Another one. What's going on here? 3-1 to the mighty Irons. Keep the faith. I'm in the minority, and that's not normal. Wow. Let's go here. We aren't winning a game till January. We are gone. Look at the contrast between comments there. 3-1 win, keep the faith. We are gone.
When you win a game till January, we're not gone. It's going to be hard if we don't win a game till January. But look at the fixtures that we've got. We've still got to play everyone again. We've still got to play those teams that are down there. And you have to play everyone twice. We've got 6-7 really hard games coming up. But that's just the way the fixtures have fallen this year.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. I still think even if we don't win any of those games in that sort of interim period between the Burnley game and the Fulham game, I still think we're going to be above Wolves at Christmas. I don't think we'll be bottom even if we lose those games.
It's potential. It's potential. Right, completely unrelated. Before we go, are any of you watching The Traitors?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good, isn't it? So we are approaching the next week's the finale, but they finally caught a traitor last night. Do you think I would be good as a traitor, or do you think I would be a faithful?
You better make a traitor with that hair.
I sound like Karen Brady did.
You got the Claudia Winkleman haircut, Jake, so I think you'll be
fine.
My
lord. I tell you what, I would take a link to Claudia Winkleman, because that woman is an absolute icon. The way she presents herself and the way she does that show, she is iconic. So if it means being linked to her, and you can see my luscious locks in in real life on Sunday, Gary. I can see you're buzzing with joy.
Can't wait, Jake.
There we go. There we go. Match day vlog coming on Sunday. It could be a pretty charged match day vlog. I can tell you right now, it's going to start with pie and mash, and then I will make my way over to the London Stadium, and I will document everything that happens before and crucially after the game as well. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully I won't need to drink myself into oblivion before the game starts, because I'm going to have a bit of confidence, unlike the Brentford game. But there we are. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official if you are new. Gary and Sam, it is a pleasure as always. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks.
Cheers. See you at the weekend.
And we'll see you at the weekend. From us, come on you irons, and we will see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much, and bye-bye. Cheers, Jen.